Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania, this is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Joe Zone on sports. This is the Newswatch 16 update.
Good evening. As this tragic week draws to a close, the mourning for the shuttle astronauts continues tonight.
And so does the search for clues. 2 robot submarines have been sent into the waters off the coast of Florida to take pictures of a large metal object at the bottom of the ocean. Officials think the object may be the crew compartment from the Challenger. Meanwhile, NASA investigators are going over the debris that was recovered overnight. Several parts of the shuttle's shell have been found, and NASA says a report on the investigation will be released on Sunday. On Daytona Beach in Florida tonight, this flashlight vigil was held for the 7 victims of Tuesday's space shuttle disaster, and in the hometown of Krista McAuliffe, Concord, New Hampshire, several thousand people turned out this evening to pay tribute to the teacher who wanted to travel in space.
President Reagan led the nation in a memorial service for the astronauts today at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. ABC's Chris Bury reports that along with paying tribute to the shuttle crew, the president also talked about a commitment to the future of the space program.
They gathered outdoors at the Johnson Space Center today to mourn a death in the NASA family. Relatives of the shuttle crew joined members of Congress and NASA employees as President Reagan led a tribute to the 7 astronauts.
To those they left behind, the mothers, the fathers, the husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, yes, and especially the children. All of America stands beside you in your time of sorrow.
Friends and family in this close-knit space community tried to hold back tears, but often could not, as the president eulogized Frank Smith, Judy Resnick, Ellison Onizuka, Ron McNair, Greg Jarvis, and Krista McAuliffe.
Your families and your country mourn your passing. We bid you goodbye. We will never forget you.
But President Reagan said their deaths would not end the shuttle program, a promise he made to the astronauts' families in a private meeting.
Every family member I talked to asked specifically that we continue the program, but that is what their departed loved one would want above all else. We will not disappoint them.
NASA jets flew overhead in a final salute to the shuttle crew as the ceremony ended. And the president gave a last hug to the families of those astronauts he eulogized today as true American heroes. Chris Bury, ABC News at the Johnson Space Center near Houston.
It was television that brought us the tragic pictures of the shuttle disaster, and today it was television that allowed people from all over the country to share in the tribute to the 7 astronauts. From this gathering in Garden Grove, California, to this auditorium at Cape Canaveral, Florida, people watched the memorial service, and many people just stopped what they were doing to catch a glimpse of the service, as we found here at Sears in the Lycoming Mall in Williamsport. Watching today's service really hit home for these students at the Weatherly Middle School in Carbon County. Their teacher, Frank Slazak, had applied to be the first teacher in space, and the students feel especially close to Krista McAuliffe.
I feel really bad, but I still think that they should go on with the space program.
It's what made me actually say yes to joining the astronaut program was that Krista McAuliffe said to follow your ambitions and to go on. That don't let anything stop you and don't let anything hold you back.
It looks as though nothing will hold these students back from reaching for the stars.
With the tragic news of this week, many of us are looking for a sign of hope, hope for the future. We have such a story for you tonight from Lackawanna County. A Moscow teenager who survived an accident that doctors thought she never would had an official welcome home tonight. Night Beat reporter Joe Ducey was there when they celebrated a miracle.
The music was loud, the American Legion Hall was crowded, and it seemed everybody was having a good time. But probably Carrie Derrys was having a better time than most. Just 3 months ago, doctors said she wouldn't live, let alone dance again.
She had every bone in her, but her face was broken. Her throat was crushed. She was in a coma for 4 days, and the doctors gave her 1% chance to live, and it was like my heart was broke.
Derry was severely injured in a head-on three-wheeler accident last October 26th. In fact, she was in Danville's Geisinger Hospital until Christmas Eve, so she's been home for a while. But it was tonight her friends chose to give her a real homecoming.
All these people would come. There's 100 more that are going to come. It's like she has a lot of friends and everything. And
she's real smart. She's got a lot of brains. She's a real nice girl. She went through a lot. She should have one of these about every Friday night.
Did you really?
Yeah. She deserves it.
The money raised by the event will go to pay for part of Carrie's $80,000 medical bill and help with future costs. Carrie says she's happy with the welcome.
I'm just excited to be home.
You're just excited to be home? Okay. Now, Carrie will have to go back to the hospital for additional surgery, but she says being here with her friends and just being home is the best medicine of all. Joe Ducey, Newswatch 16 in Moscow.
Coming up, a push for more money for some senior citizens.
Plus, a little later, voila, the spring fashions are here. All as Newswatch 16 update continues.
The high-performing V8 Oldsmobile Cutler Supreme. You only catch one like this once in a lifetime.
Here's great news. Special finance savings on Cutler Supreme. See your Olds dealer today.
Nurses and other healthcare professionals who had been striking against the state are expected to vote on a new contract offer next week, and their union is recommending they accept it. Today, the union members returned to work, ending their 9-day strike. The union and the state reached a tentative agreement that calls for a pay raise of a bit more than 30 cents an hour, but cutbacks in holiday and sick time. Nurses we talked to reporting back to work this morning at Scranton State General Hospital say they're glad to be back on the job. If the state nurses okay the new 3-year contract, it would be retroactive to July of 1985. One of our U.S. senators is calling on the federal government to do more to help the mentally ill. As Newswatch 16's Mark Anik reports, Senator John Hines got a first-hand look today at how the mentally ill are cared for in Scranton.
Some are young, some are old, most are old. Some live in nursing homes, some live with families. All of them suffer from some mental illness, but most important, all of them are people. Being people, they need help, maybe musical therapy. It's the kind of help they get at the Scranton Counseling Center. It's not an institution, they don't live here, they stop in during the week, and most enjoy it.
What did you think of the music today?
Oh, it's beautiful. They all are.
But like anything, this type of care costs money. Now, some of that cost is picked up by the federal government. The senator, though, says the government should be doing more. The senator is Senator John Hines, head of the Senate Committee on Aging. Hines says the amount Medicare pays for mental health services is just too low.
We permit $250 a year. That's almost nothing. We should double, quadruple, raise it even more if we can.
The senator says he'll introduce legislation to do just that. He says elderly people everywhere need help from the government in order to get the real help from counseling centers like this one. Mark Anik, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
Next, meteorologist Tom Clark with a stormy weekend ahead.
I guess we'll be slipping and sliding, right?
Well, I'm going to be talking about warmer temperatures tonight.
Sounds good.
But also tonight I'll be talking about a little bit more than just warmer temperatures. I'll be right back with the latest from my backyard. You're watching Newswatch 16 Update on WNEP TV, and we're proud to serve Clarkstown and all of Lycoming County.
Come on, baby, let's got tissue roll. 1,000 sheets that'll thrill your soul. Come on, baby, let that paper roll. Roll on and on.
When the other reading brand quits, Scott Tissue rolls out to 1,000 sheets, so it lasts longer to save you money.
Roll on.
Scott Scott Tissue, Scott Towels, Scotty, Scott Economy Pack Napkins. The Scott Value products go a long way and save you money.
Roll on and on.
Each member of the U.S. ski team has their own individual way of going down the mountain. And while they may not agree on what equipment should get them to the bottom, they do agree on what equipment should get them to the top. Subaru, official car of the U.S. ski team since 1976.
They say the early bird catches the worm, but what about the early groundhog? Groundhog Day won't be here until Sunday, but we found one groundhog in Luzerne County tonight that apparently doesn't like to wait around for Punxsutawney Phil's prediction. This little critter has been hanging out behind a gas station in Plains Township the past few days. No word on whether this guy is predicting an early spring.
What about Tom Clark? I don't know. Are your predictions any better than the groundhog?
He's the most famous weather forecaster of all time.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Well, if he sees a shadow, that means that we have an early spring coming this year. So I think there'll be a little sun shining through on Sunday in some parts of Pennsylvania. We'll just have to wait and see. You know, there was a bad earthquake today, and it wasn't all that far away from here. In fact, hardest hit was northern Ohio. Now, take a look at this here. The uneven trace on this seismograph indicated very strong vibrations deep inside the earth. But it's not often you see a sign like this one here. But inside this supermarket, the damage was extensive. When the tremors hit, part of the ceiling came down. And before long, the aisles were littered with broken glass, cans, and bottles. And, oh yes, a lovely job. What a mess, no doubt about it. But the center of the quake was centered only 30 miles away from Cleveland. It measured 5 on the Richter scale and was felt across much of western Pennsylvania and as far away as Washington, D.C. But here in Pennsylvania, things are kind of quiet tonight. My weather watcher out there in Center County in Blanchard, Lawrence Rupert, has 18 at his place. Joyce Lemon in Mountain Home, Monroe County, 13. And Joyce Rothermel in Mahanoy City, 13 at her place. Here in the backyard, the sky is clear and the temperature is 18. Humidity 80%, the wind is calm, and the barometer is rising just a bit now. Had a range in temperature here today, almost hit 30. 28 here, 14 the low last night. You see 32 and 17, 63 and 7 below. The records for this date, a ½ inch of snow here. A year ago today, the high in the middle teens. Now, this satellite image is just in. Notice the clear skies over Pennsylvania, but an ominous gathering of clouds not too far to the west. It's all because of some very mild air, again, breaking loose and working its way north. Down in this area, temperatures tonight are in the 50s, and it's clashing with some bitter cold air to the north, and that's causing some snow to break out across parts of Wisconsin and Michigan, and it looks like this very strong temperature boundary will be heading towards Pennsylvania. The clouds will thicken up here tomorrow morning, and it looks like that as this moves in, we'll see a mixture of precipitation here over the weekend. Now let's check that sunrise first of all before we get to the details here. 7:15 tomorrow morning for that, and the sunset at 5:20. Overnight tonight it's going to stay mostly clear, about 15 here, down to about 8 to 10 above in some of the outlying areas. Now, struggling to reach freezing tomorrow, the clouds will thicken up in the morning. It looks like some snow will develop in the afternoon. It still looks like the most likely time will be between 3 and 6 p.m. Could pick up an inch or two of snow before it warms up enough in the atmosphere to change things over to some freezing rain here for a while tomorrow evening. So keep that in mind if you have any travel plans late tomorrow and tomorrow night. And then I think some plain old rain by daybreak on Sunday. That'll make a nice mess of things, won't it? And then on Sunday, not too bad by then. It should be warming up almost to near 40 in the afternoon. Maybe a couple of rain showers on Sunday, and then above freezing as we head through Monday and Tuesday. So again, from late tomorrow into tomorrow night, things could get slick out there. So keep that in mind and have a good one.
Okay.
You too, Tom.
Thank you. Coming up, we're going to show you why this spring is really going to be colorful.
Plus, it's a big basketball night. Joe Zone will roll by you the scores and the highlights.
Clap your hands when you drive on through. We're bringing it hot off the grill to you. Hot, hot to go. It's hand warming time at McDonald's. To go, stack it. Wrap it. Hot, hot. McNuggets, fries, and a hot Big Mac. When it's blowing cold, we got it hot to go. It's a good time for the great taste.
Gotta get it live if you don't get it hot.
A McDonald's.
The coldest months of winter are still ahead. There's plenty of bone-chilling weather to come. But here's the best way to stay warm. Right now, Burlington Coat Factory has a huge selection of warm winter coats. And almost every coat in Burlington stock is on sale at the lowest prices of the season. Coats for ladies, men, and children at Burlington's low sale prices. There's never been a better time to buy a winter coat than right now at Burlington Coat Factory.
Friday night, high school basketball. Joe Zone.
Okay, let's get to it because we got the scoreboard to roll at you with the screen tonight. GAR won the first half title, sits in the number 12 spot in the Super 16, home with Westside Tech tonight. They're in the home whites, and they're going to get to it early. GAR inside, Bill Callahan, great move, and he scores. Now, against Westside Tech, the press, the steal, fadeaway jumper by Chris Makowitz. GAR still up by 18 points at this point. They continue the scoring. Jumper from the corner by Callahan. You got it. Once again, into Callahan. He's their big gun off the glass. GAR up by 24 tonight. Then Callahan passes over to Andy Macko. He drives, fakes, and scores. Then he'll get it around to Macko. He hits again, and GAR is the big winner tonight against Westside Tech. Okay, here we go to the scoreboard. Here they come. Enjoy them. Bet you thought that was all the scores. Wrong, big score breath. Let's do more. West Branch Conference key game between South Williamsport and Montoursville, and they're crazy at South Williamsport tonight. And we'll pick up the action with South Williamsport and the home whites. Tying it early. Jim Cummings hits from the corner right there. Montoursville takes a 2-point lead as Sean Heller hits from the corner. Then they go up 4 as Ken Helm hits right here from the corner. Then by 9 points on the long pass to Todd Doherty. He lays it in. And now watch Jimmy Nolan. Takes charge for South Williamsport. He hits the jumper. And then watch again. Nolan makes the steal and lays it in. It wasn't enough tonight as Montoursville wins the game. Okay, we got more, and here they come. Winners on top. Welcome back. Let's go to the NBA now. Check the highlights. Slams tonight inside, and we'll go early with Detroit and Atlanta. That's Livingston with the slam now. The Celtics and the Bullocks. Parrish on the break. He's got a score. And then the guy they just sort of picked up in the offseason, Bill Walton. Bang. A slam there as Boston wins. Dallas and Cleveland. Shrimp gets the rebound and the jam. And then Indiana and Seattle. Stepanovich, flying slam, and then watch one more time. Here comes Tisdale inside. There's a slam. Okay, we'll take it to the NBA now and check the winners. Boston beat Washington. Atlanta over Detroit by 13. Indiana beat Seattle 101-94, and Dallas over Cleveland 107-91. One college game tonight involving ranked teams. Kentucky over Auburn 81-71. That's 8th ranked Kentucky. Now we'll go to the high school wrestling scoreboard. Number 2 North Schuylkill beat Pottsville. North Pocono over Susquehanna. Clearfield beat State College, and Berwick over Lake Lehman on the high school wrestling scoreboard. NHL 2 finals. Buffalo 5, the Rangers 3, and St. Louis beat Detroit 6-4. Fishing game forecast for tomorrow. Sunday, February 2nd, Muskrat Day.
Yeah? Right. What Joe is trying to tell you is that some people seem to think that our groundhog that we showed you tonight behind the gas station might be a muskrat. I don't know.
And we don't know for sure.
But anyway, he did see a shadow, so he's scared.
Joe will check into it for us.
Thanks, Joe.
Still ahead, why I love Paris in the springtime.
But first, let's check on tonight's winning lottery numbers. The daily number is 064. And the lotto numbers are in order 8, 16, 24, 31, 35, 39, and the alternate is 34. We'll be right back.
I know. How does some seafood sound?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Long John Silver's got battered fried shrimp, breaded shrimp, scallops, clams, even oysters.
Sounds like a taste in a place I wanna be. Sounds good. Sounds great. Come on, grab me a plate. Long John Silver. Sounds good to me.
And finally tonight, it's hard to believe, but it's that time of year again when Karen takes us down the Paris runway.
Yes, it's time once again to show you what's hot in fashion for the warm weather. Each January, Paris fashion designers introduce their new spring and summer lines. This week, it's Yves Saint Laurent's turn. What's hot? Well, flashy, splashy colors are red hot for the hot weather. But this season's designs are not as outrageous as some we've paraded before you in the past. Yves Saint Laurent and the other Paris designers seem less interested in shocking us than in pleasing us with long, clean lines. The all-black dress got the most applause. The bridal gown was good for some oohs and ahs, but the ooh-la-las go to our director Ed's favorite fashion of the French show. Now that's what you call an extremely low-cut gown. Yes, Ed the director loved that one. We just had to show you that.
That's too hot for summer.
Too hot for any time.
That's Newswatch 16 update for Friday.
Next on Nightline, what's going on in Haiti?
And now we leave you with a reminder of just how beautiful our winter can be here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania.
Good night and enjoy your weekend.